and uncle and auntie. Do you all understand? I'm talking about what seems to be the flow of history, but here we are. Now injustice has been established. And we are the victims of injustice who must rise to the occasion facing truth and fix things right again. We must understand. We must understand. You see, because after they enslaved us and destroyed the black family and said, you're not going to function. And so we are in a state of dysfunction. The majority of black children are in what? Single-parent households. We have huge numbers of children that are producing children. No child can rear a child to be a soldier. No child can rear a child to be a soldier. And if you bring children in the world and you can't take care of them, so they're passed from one foster home to another foster home, to another foster home, to another foster home. Not only are you making children who are going to become drug addicts and alcoholics, but you are setting up children to be sexually abused. And I am telling you, if anybody in this room doesn't understand what is happening to children who have been, what? Produced without responsibility. That these children are being dogged and degraded, it will make the strongest man cry if he dared to read the history. It is a living, crying shame what is happening to hundreds of thousands of black children under white supremacy. But white supremacy is not going to change it. It is up to black people to study the chessboard and say never another black child is going to be born to a child. Never another black child is going to be born and then given away to the slave master and say, you raise it. Do you all understand what I'm saying? I'm saying my view. No black woman should have a child until she's 30. No black man should become a father until he's 35. No more than 2. No closer together than 3 years apart. Why? Because we are going to win this war. All right. But if children do not have mature parents, see, now white supremacy said you're not going to have any mature parents. This is a war. I'm not letting you all have any mature parents. If I have anything to say about it, I want you to produce weak people. I want you to produce children that are not taken care of so I can sell drugs to them and look at them falling all over the street. I want to produce men that can't fight the war. I want to look at it and feel strong and powerful and white. No, this is what we are up against. So it's a big game that is on the field. It's not about, I'm going to do my own thing. You don't go on a football field and I'm going to do my own thing and the coach says get off the field. You don't go on a basketball court, I'm going to do my own thing. You don't even sit down with checkers. I'm going to do my own thing. No, you play the game that is on the table. We are being required to play this game of justice against white supremacy. It cannot be done with weak people. It cannot be done with children who do not get their lap time. See, lap time, I ask some children, what is lap time? How many times you run around the field? No, lap time is the time that little children require to get their emotional bearing by being able to sit on a mature lap and not have somebody say, get down, boy, get down, you're too big. Get down, girl, get off of my lap. You see I got this baby. You understand what I'm saying? Now the conditions have been produced, because if you don't give children lap time, they will become obsessed with sex. Did you get it? I gotta have some. I got to have some. Ooh, I gotta get me some. House is burning. I gotta get some. Seriously. See, if you don't meet the emotional needs, if mature parents are not available, children will look for a sexual outlet to be close. And a little teenage girl, I want to have a baby, Dr. Welsing. I can take care of this baby. She's 13. I'm going to love this baby. This baby's going to love me. Little boy, little girl, if you love me, you're going to have my baby. Yeah, I'm going to have a baby for you. Little boy wants to be loved. Little girl wants to be loved under the conditions of white supremacy. It is going to be a disaster. Children who do not get their emotional needs met cannot sit still in the first grade. And then somebody will say, oh, he's hyperactive. I think we need to put him on medication. Do you all understand? Absolutely. Somebody with the first child at 14, and by the time they're 22 is 6 children. Do you understand? She's overwhelmed. It is no way possible for somebody 22 to meet the emotional needs of 2 children. Do you understand? We must master what has happened to us under white supremacy. We are not dumb, we are not stupid, but a war machine has rolled over us. A war machine that now includes AIDS. Oh, it started in Africa. Oh, the green monkey. It started in a laboratory. It's just like when the stock market fell because of whatever people who classify themselves as white were doing or failing to do. They said it was Black Monday. So when they manufacture a virus that is specifically for the purpose of depopulating, I have to reduce the numbers of black people because it is too much for me to deal with. So if I just gave it to them straight, then they would say, oh, wait a minute, how come only black people have it? So what I'm going to do is give it to the white homosexuals, who I think are weak white men, and so I can get rid of them, and then it'll look like it's a black-white thing too. So people who study history will say, wait a minute, isn't that the same plan that Hitler had? Before Hitler destroyed 6 million Semites of the Jewish religion because he said they were not white people. And he took the white homosexuals out in front. We have exactly the same dynamic going on that went on in Nazi Germany. Hitler backed up trucks to the mental institutions and gassed those people. What do? We're going to let them out and let them walk around the streets where they don't have shelter, don't have decent food. And so within about 4 years, many of them will be dead. Just a variation on the theme. All kind of homeless people with no place to live. So we have the same dynamic that is coming down here that went down in Germany under their particular situation of white supremacy. No education being done amongst black people. I called Surgeon General Coop's office a year ago. I said, you all keep talking about large numbers of black people are going to have AIDS. And I said, but you are not educating in a public health manner. You are not educating black people. You have to go on the television over and over again. You have to go on the radio that black people listen to over and over again and educate them about AIDS. The spokeswoman in his office said, well, it's too bad. Some people just won't find out. And I said, I cannot believe you're saying this to me. And there was silence on the other end. In London, the black people are not being educated about AIDS. In this area of the world, the black people are not being educated about AIDS. And if you read the newspaper, I look at 3 newspapers every day. And if you look at the newspapers and read, you will see what they're saying. Oh, well, we won't be able to reach the drug addicts. Now, that's an impossible population. You just can't reach them. That's not true. You take a sound truck if you want to. And you can go and educate them. After every soap opera, you can have educational information, not about condoms. No, they said they brought the condom issue so they wouldn't have to educate. They want us to talk about condoms, and so then they will have a big side distracting argument going on about condoms so that they do not do public health education. The way that I know that AIDS is biological warfare is because there's no education that is going on. If it was a real public health disaster, it would be all kinds of education going on. And I found a book in February of 1987 called A Survey of Chemical and Biological Warfare, in which they describe a disease. The book was published in 1969. And they describe a disease exactly like AIDS called green monkey disease, vervet monkey disease. Can be venereally transmitted, unlike any other organism, can be used for biological warfare purposes. It said that right in the book. Now here comes this green monkey again with the same disease that they're saying just came out of the blue in Africa. I say, wake up, black people. Demonstrate your self-respect by being courageous, looking at the truth, be willing to change your behavior. Many black people that I talk to, have you changed your behavior in the presence of AIDS? No. I'm telling you now. Anybody who doesn't change their behavior is going to be dead. If I was a white supremacist, I would say, now there is a form of sex called safe sex. If you use a condom, then you lower your chances of getting this deadly virus. But what would I do further to do? I put holes in the condoms in your community. And do you know, I was talking at a Unitarian church to some people a week ago, and I was saying this, and so 2 people that I was talking to said, didn't you see the article where they found all these condoms that had holes in them? That's why it's important to understand, is this biological warfare? If you think it's just economics, you won't understand white genetic survival. And you won't understand when the brain computer that is concerned about white genetic survival will be pushed to say we have to use germ warfare on these people. You won't even understand it. If you don't understand white genetic survival, you won't understand how they could calculate to destroy 6 million who look to us like they were white. But they said, no, they are not white. They came out of Africa. They are a mixture of Greek and Roman soldiers and African women. They miscegenated for close to 2,000 years with white people, lost a lot of their color, but the white people said they still are not white. We just had a case of the lady in New Orleans, right? Who said, well, I'm white. I look as white. And the judge said, what? You are not white. Do you all understand?
Absolutely.
Because the person who looks white, in the mind of the white supremacist, is more dangerous than the person who you can see is black. Because the person who looks white can sneak some genes from Africa and cause white genetic annihilation. You have to understand the mindset of the person that you're dealing with. We were in trouble as black people because we thought we think, and so we said, well, they think like us. They were coming from a different point. They were coming from the point of white genetic survival. And so if I could bend my knees, I would get down on my knees and beg, please understand white genetic survival. Please understand it. Please understand what you are dealing with. If I had my way, we would put all the boogie downers, boogie down, put all those records aside. That when justice prevails on the planet, we can pull them out. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like our children can dance like geniuses. But do they understand white supremacy? They can dance like geniuses, but do they know math? The descendants of the people who built the pyramids don't know math. Do you understand what I'm saying? Can dance like geniuses, but can't read. Dr. Welsing, I don't like reading. I don't want to read. It's not the children's fault. I mean, we're looking at television, looking at television, looking at television, looking at television, where all the information is coming in through my ears. But you will not be able to keep up with white supremacy if you don't read. White people are being educated about age, just reading the newspaper and the magazines. But they say, well, 10 out of 10 white people read. 1 out of 20 black people read. So we'll put the information that we want them to have in the paper, our people. They won't get it. Now what? We can say, oh, that's horrible. But when somebody makes a bad play on the football field, you say, well, they're doing their number. They're trying to score for their team. The white people are playing for white genetic survival. And if you don't believe it, listen to their spokespersons. Who are their spokespersons? Nazis, Klan, those are just the outspoken people who are supporting white supremacy. And so they come out and tell you in clear language, but we want to just dismiss them. I say, don't dismiss them.
Right.
Listen to them. Read what it is that they are saying. They are talking about white genetic survival. And every single person who classifies themselves as white understands what it is that they are talking about. And that's why the nice people in Germany allowed people who were classified as non-white to be taken out of their neighborhoods, put in trucks, or put on trains and killed. I asked people in Germany in 1957, did you know what they were doing to the Semites? And they looked at their shoes, meaning yes, they knew. And if you think that the same thing could not happen here tomorrow, because it is happening.
Right.
See, biological warfare is being used. Chemical warfare, crack and cocaine and all the other stuff, PCP, that is coming into these communities by the cartload. Do you think that it is not intended? Soften up their brains with chemical warfare and give them the 1-2 punch with biological warfare on the other side. Get their brains accustomed to crack and cocaine. So they'll start talking about, I don't care. I don't care. Just give me some more. And let me tell you what I read in the paper the other day. A black woman in New York held her 6-year-old child over the toilet and allowed 2 men to sodomize that child so she could get some drugs. That's white supremacy. Soften the brain up so anything, I'll do anything, I'll do anything, just give me some more cocaine. Do you all understand?
Absolutely.
This is the war that is being waged against us. Now we can play around and we can not look at it and say we don't want to think about it. We can do it if we want to. I say that the Semites of the Jewish religion, they used to squabble about God's chosen people. They're chosen. And debate what were they chosen to do. And I decided in my own mind that they were chosen to show all of the non-white people in the world that no matter how light-skinned you get, no matter how many degrees you have, no matter what kind of car you have, no matter how many diamonds you have, no matter how many fur coats you have, no matter if you are a judge, no matter if you are a doctor, no matter if you are a professor, that when the hammer of white supremacy comes down, you are going to get it. Because they became the most miscegenated of all of the non-white people, looking so much like white that most of the other non-white people didn't know who they are, but the white people knew who they were. So I say learn from history, because we can sit up and repeat the same thing. It doesn't have anything to do with me. I mean, I've got mine. So I encourage us. Our children are looking for models of strength. See, children can't stand grown-ups who don't show strength. See, children want to be able to lean up against you and not have you tilt over to the other side. The children are crying for strength. Show us a model. Show us how to be courageous. Show us how to face these math books. If we can't face white supremacy, how can they face math? If we can't face white supremacy, how can they face reading? Do you understand? This is a time of challenge. The critical question, are we going to rise to the challenge?
Absolutely.
Just like Harold Washington leaving. He said, you all did a magnificent thing. Now, can you maintain what you got now that I'm gone? Right. Or are you going to squabble and fight with each other and name call each other and let the enemy ride through? Right. You see, because I do think he understood something about the bigger picture. The bigger picture doesn't have anything to do with us as individual people doing our thing. Is can we man our positions on the black side of the chessboard? Can we man our positions and not fight with each other, but be courageous enough to look in the direction of the enemy? Let me suggest these things to you. In Mr. Neely Fuller's book, The Textbook for Victims of White Supremacy, he listed 10 things that he said that people, victims of white supremacy, who are intent on bringing justice to the planet, what they can do with their individual behavior or what they can work on. Stop name-calling one another. That means no more UMF, MF. Stop name calling each other. Stop gossiping about one another. See, this is beginner's chess for mastering the black side of the chessboard. Stop squabbling with one another. Stop snitching on one another. This is going to be very important for Chicago, because snitching means informing to racists for reasons of personal gain.
Stop our children from doing it too. Stop that now.
Stop snitching on one another. Stop being discourteous to one another. Stop being disrespectful to one another. Stop stealing from one another. Stop robbing one another. Stop fighting one another. Stop killing one another. And I add, stop using and selling drugs to one another. Yes. And last but not least, stop throwing trash. Yes. See, I did a paper called The Politics of Trash. See, when people think they are nothing, they throw trash wherever they are. And you know what they do with trash? They compact it and they burn it. But if a person has been reduced to trash in their subconscious thinking,